on the top right side of Oxide is probably aiming for a 7-0 and a 14-0. I don't know who's doing the observing, but he's not totally ready. But that's all good. Eventually, he should be ready. Because there is a game going on. I gotta say, the top right side of Oxide is beautiful, cats.
Yeah, the leaves of autumn as they prepare to fall. And here we go. It's Reynor.
I like how you just stole my thunder. Now you just introduced my guy. All right, do them both, cats. It's okay.
Well, here playing for Clash also, it is the Protoss player.
Hellraiser. I thought it was you again. What's happening, cats? What is this start?
Well, we did half of the intro. Roddy, please. How are you and Roddy getting so confused by this teamwork?
Oh, wait. You make it. All right. This is actually going to get very wild already. What a way to start Remake Winter. So Reynor goes pool, and then probably will build a hatchery on the other side of the map. Meanwhile, Hellraiser goes Nexus first, then builds a forge. And I am so interested to see how he's going to deal with this. Because, you know, cats, I actually have to deal with a lot of this stuff because I like going Nexus first myself. And then people are like, oh, you just want to boost the Zealot. And I'm like, well, my gateway is like 20 seconds later than everybody else that gateway. I never see pros go Nexus first. So I'm really curious to see how this one plays out.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting indeed. I'm surprised a little bit that the hatchery is in range of a cannon. Like a cannon at the front for Hellraiser can defend the front as well as attack the hatchery on the high ground. I'm not sure why that's being delayed. I think I would have preferred the other cannon, wouldn't you?
Yes. Hellraiser is in trouble. Okay, he needs to get
cannon. Why isn't he using the other side, right?
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. I don't think he thought about it, and I have to admit I didn't think about it either until you mentioned it, so I can't blame him. But if you build a cybernetic score here, this is still not a wall off. No, there's a little gap there, right? I'm not crazy. There has to be a gap. No, there's no gap.
It looks like it's gonna be okay.
Okay.
But I mean, the Zerglings are gonna work at that cybercore and take it down. So Hellraiser smartly makes a second cybercore to allow for the...
It's out right now to go up to 3 bases. He doesn't know what we know. It's impossible for him to really have any vision out on the map. So Reynor could have 8 Zerglings, but Reynor also can have 28 Zerglings. And that is the case. A couple of Adepts get surrounded before Resonating Glaives is done. And this is actually hurting a little bit as well, even though it could have been worse. But Hellraiser is not going up to 3 bases anytime soon. I mean, he's playing full Roddy style here, mate. Like, I hate saying that because it seems like I have a massive ego. But, you know, Nexus first, Resonating Glaives into double Stargate air weapons. I don't think anyone is really upset when I say that this is the way I play a lot of my PVCs. But I think he's in trouble.
Yeah, and for a long time, I think you've been playing this style. So, yeah, I don't think anyone would be upset. But I would have liked the Stargates maybe earlier, though, when he felt like he was trapped on 2 bases, like I was saying. I don't know. I feel like he did delay the tech for too long, but we'll see what comes of this. There is a Roach Warren in place for Reynor, though there are no Roaches out. Is there a glimmer of hope for this Adepts?
There's a Spine Crawler that's going to make things a little bit more complicated. I mean, if they can take a fight away from the Queens, then the answer is absolutely yes. But with the Queens all here as well, I'm not sure about that, Shade. I think the Zergling count is a bit too high, especially with this many Queens nearby. Even though the Lynx disappeared very quickly, but there are still so many additional Zerglings on the way. I'm not sure if this is it,
hey,
but it's promising.
This Shade... Yeah, it has already killed 7 workers, it looks like. And yeah, the Lynx didn't get as much surface area as they would have liked. A little bit deceitful for those Adepts in the back of the mineral there. And they're going to cancel this Shade just to extend their stay as Hellraiser positions himself to take a 3rd as well. So this is not too bad at all now.
I'm actually kind of sad he didn't fight those 3 Queens. I actually think you could have taken the attack twice, right? They've got a double attack. So +1 is basically a +2. And we can see first 2 Queens already going down. The Hydra count is very low. You can actually fight the Queens if you're just not near a Spore Crawler. But away from the Spore, I think you can fight this.
Yeah, especially with that +1 as you were mentioning, because that does make a lot of sense. I mean, for other purposes, I feel like whatever the Phoenixes lift up, they're basically going to one-shot anyway. Like if they lift up a Hydra or if they're going after Overlords. But with Queens, that can significantly, make it so that Phoenixes can actively fight groups of Queens. So that's pretty awesome. And this is really good value on the side of Hellraiser, who's already got 2 carriers on the way.
Yeah, he's so far ahead at the moment. It's actually insane. He's going to get a few more drone kills as well. You don't want to make sure you don't lose too many Phoenixes doing this, and all of them survived. So the only Phoenix that went down was basically a Phoenix that came a little bit later, so the rally point was kind of annoying, and it flew over 2 Spore Crawlers and a Queens and stuff like that. Well done, man. He's got 3 carriers out against a 3-base Zerg that's working on Hydras that has no upgrades yet. Like, yeah, sure, they're getting +1. Oh, this is amazing. I never expected this game to look this damn good for Hellraiser.
Yeah, it really is looking amazing, and I'm not sure what Reynor can do, to be honest. I mean, he tried for a ram, but it didn't work. He's making a lot of Hydras. Those are not gonna cut it against carriers, and he doesn't have an economy situated where he can really just, you know, switch into Mascoraptors or anything of the sort. It's not a matter of deciding what to do. Is what can he do? I'm not sure.
I'm actually sad he didn't fight those Queens. There was no Spore Crawler nearby. The Hydras were guarding the main base. And you can easily kill those Queens, no matter how much energy you have. If you have this many Phoenixes with +1, he absolutely could have taken that fight. I mean, Reynor is making roaches against a guy who's got carriers with +2. Well, soon to be +2 on the field. Reynor is in so much trouble. I would almost say, Cats, that he needs Microbial Shroud, but I think you will kill me if I say that.
No, I think I would agree. As long as there is no storm, I think Microbial Shroud is always pretty decent, especially if you have a Hydra-based army. But I don't know that there really is an answer for Reynor. I think when he sees carriers, he could just leave, to be honest, just because, you know, it's kind of like that place in the game where you might feel like, okay, if he has this, I'm dead, and then you see it, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's going to try. The Queens are going to march to the other side of the map as well. I mean, maybe if Hellraiser takes a bad fight and runs out of interceptors, anything is possible. But if Hellraiser just gets a good old A-click going here, gets the interceptors out, and then lift 3-4 Hydras at a time with the Phoenixes, I think you're fine. Instead, he's going to go for the Queens. Here we go, Cats. But this is a fight that should go well for Hellraiser. I don't know why he's so afraid, man. Your army is so good.
Yeah, he could really shade those adepts into the Hydras. I mean, the Queens melted. His army is gigantic. He has chosen to give up this base in favor of maybe allowing one more carrier to join the fray, and I think that's gonna just make things more decisive in this fight, perhaps. I mean, it's not really close at this point. Like you said, the Interceptors running out of steam might be the best chance for Reynor to stick around, but even then, he's not trading cost effectively if he's not killing the carriers.
You know, if he would have gone the first time properly, I actually think he would have won the fight already. And since he then disengaged, well, then please wait for +2. Because now he basically lost all his interceptors right before +2. At this point, his carriers are not maxed out at all. And he has to be a little bit careful. He's going to go for it a lot more decisive this time. Let's see if the +2 carriers can make the difference. And I do feel he's running out of interceptors again, though.
Yeah, there are a couple of Zealots actually doing a lot of work. Maybe not the most efficient trades, but all the carriers are gonna survive. And really, I mean, Reynor is getting, I think he's going for it, by the way. I think he's going for the Microbial Shroud, right? That at this point is his best play. He did get the Infestor energy, and he's making 2 Infestors. I don't see anything else that he could be going for there.
You know, Cats, I've never been more sure of anything in my life, but Hellraiser really could have won that fight at the bottom right side. He should have just engaged properly. I think, like, whatever you do, you got to be decisive, right, in a game of StarCraft 2. And the carriers are very good if you just get the interceptors out. But if you start disengaging, then the interceptors alone kind of stay behind. The Phoenixes not that help out. That's when you start losing all of them. He should have just fully sent it, believe in his army. And even if you, let's say, like, you lose almost all your Phoenixes, you lose all the adepts, but you keep the base alive, you win the game regardless, right? Like, there was no reason to be that passive.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think it's very difficult, right? Like, Reynor has an aura around him where it's like it must feel like you know, you're like winning a fight must feel like your confidence should be low if his confidence is high, right? Like, if he's engaging, it would give you that vibe perhaps where it's like, oh my god, am I walking into a trap of some sort? And in a high stakes game like this, I don't know. I can't imagine it's anything else, because
he's like, all right,
pretty straightforward.
It's Reynor, like, he's got 17 Corruptors ready to fly in from the side, right? Or, you know, Infestors will unburrow and drop fungals on my army, or they're gonna neuroparasite everything. I gotta be worried. Like, no, that was actually it. Hellraiser still has more than a good chance, though. It's obviously gonna be a bit harder, but he lands a Storm. Storm is a good way to start. There are quite a few Spore Crawlers here, and he's fungling the Interceptors as well, but Reynor is still forced to run away, and Reynor's army is kind of melting.
Yeah, I love that Reynor identified that he was going to have to stay alive here because, like you said, Hellraiser is still well far ahead. So Reynor drops a million spore crawlers, but it looks like it's not going to be enough. And with the storm, before the infestors can cast a microbial shroud, it looks like Hellraiser is just cleaning up, and he's going to be able to close this game after all.
There's a depths, Phoenixes. I knew all along I was onto something, cats. This is Hellraiser.
All right, and here on the top left, it is the champion looking to redeem himself. It is Reynor.
Hellraiser is going to switch it up this game, though. He's not going to go for that double nexus for us this time. This is going to be a gate, and we'll probably just take the game from there. I wonder if it's going to be something weird, like a gate and then maybe a late forge. I know some of those Eastern European protoses have a lot of funky builds up their sleeve.
Yeah, I've seen a few of those, actually. They're pretty potent. They can be, because it's so difficult to just underreact if you're the Cirque player, right? And some people will fake it as well. And yeah, there it is indeed. It's going to be a forge. There is a spot on this map where you can also wall in a pylon with, or a cannon with 3 pylons on the low ground, I believe.
Were we all wrong, cats? Is this going to be a 2-0 in favor of Hellraiser?
Well, Reynor knows what might happen, so he's taking no chances. I wonder if Hellraiser does know about the low ground position, because, you know, walling yourself off with just 3 pylons on the low ground is pretty good as well if you're looking to kill that hatchery. Hellraiser is just gonna forfeit this, though.
Nah, it's a fake forfeit. He was hoping that Reynor would make a boo-boo.
Oh, it's a fake forfeit. You're right. All right, so he's gonna try again. Do you think? How do you like this? I mean, there's only like
late.
2 spots.
Yeah, and there's too late now.
Yeah, the creep's gonna start popping up. There is the one drone preventing the cannons in the more annoying spots. Hellraiser does find actually 2 cannons, which is more than I thought he was gonna be able to find.
3. And I still think it's too late, right?
I think so. There's like no surface area on those cannons, though. I don't think that Reynor can actually stop them from going up. Maybe the pylon is what he prioritizes the pylon with the Zerglings. Hellraiser trying to drop a new pylon at the top, and he's going to be able to. So very well done on his side of things. Will it be enough?
Well, this is going to be very big. I think the cannon's actually going to be on power, though. No, don't you fight this right now? Hello, Reynor? Okay, no, he just wants to kill that pylon as well. Well, that's a very smart way of dealing with this. GG gets called. Reynor successfully defends the cannon rush. Out here on Lightshade, he is of course representing Clash as well. It is the Italian stallion himself, Reynor.
And with a very, very fast drone out on the map, I think. In the top left-hand corner for Clash also, it is both of the Clash boys we were talking about. It is Hellraiser. The only 2 players in the tournament. They almost had 3 though, Roddy.
Mate. No more, I can't take it. So yeah, is Reynor going to proxy hatch again? Or what is happening over here?
Something with this drone for sure. I'm not sure what it's waiting for. It seems mistimed, right? Like you would have wanted to send it a little bit later, but maybe he completely wanted to find a way to avoid the probe, and that's exactly what he's done here. And now he's gonna go in and it looks like block the natural expansion of Hellraiser with a hatchery.
I do feel like you need to pull probes against this, right? I think if you don't pull probes, you're going to be a little bit behind. Hellraiser instead is going to drop the forge, but don't you always end up behind if you do that?
It's difficult for me to say like what the best response is. I do like pulling probes myself. I like pulling like 3 or 4 probes. A lot of people pull a lot more probes than that. But if you pull like 4 probes and then you have your Zealot come out timely, then the Zerg player has to make the worst decision ever, which is to keep a hatchery and make it spawn where it's going to have nearly no HP and you don't know how much you're going to get out of it, or to cancel it, which is, you know, then if you have less probes attacking it the entire time and you force the cancel, then that's the minimum investment that you can go for. So I think forcing the Zerg to that very difficult decision is one approach. Hellraiser has gone for the cannon stone.
Yeah, so this time Hellraiser is going to have much quicker access to gas and the cybernetic score, because obviously he didn't go Nexus first. Reynor did leave 2 Zerglings behind, but he didn't keep track of the probe, and I really hope for Reynor that he's aware of the fact that there is a pylon being built on top of his hatchery right now, and this could potentially get cannon rushed as well.
Oh, that is nasty. If Hellraiser is able to do this, and I have no reason to imagine that he won't at this point, he is going to equalize things, though Reynor very Yeah, he might have underestimated the hatchery at this point, because once the queen comes out and she obviously injects, now Reynor has a lot of those Zerglings that Hellraiser has to deal with. I like the decision for the shield battery. On the other side of things, Reynor has made a lot of links himself, so he's not economically thriving either. But it's definitely a weird game.
Oh no. Oh, he made a mistake. The links, or excuse me, the adapts were not on hold position, so they moved a little too far forward. And this means that this time Hellraiser was forced to use recall. But even now, I think he's still in some trouble, because the natural is going to be under some serious fire as well. There are so many Zerglings coming in from both sides at this point, and there are still a lot of links in the main base as well. This game is bananas.
It is absolutely bananas, but it is on a knife's edge as well, because if these links die without doing anything on the side of Hellraiser, I feel like he can still stabilize. And they are basically trapped, right? And Reynor has now gone back to his base, so Hellraiser has done the proper thing in just waiting until he has enough adepts, and he's gonna have enough to crash this attack soon.
This doesn't seem like a very pretty fight for Reynor. Reynor is going to lose a lot of Zerglings, and I think he's making a pretty big mistake. Reynor, that's 3 cannons and a battery and some warpins and a depth. You can't be fighting that. And Reynor just lost, I don't know how many Zerglings, but 59 have gone down already in this game. Cats, what I'm not getting is, why didn't he make a Baneling Nest? If you have this many Zerglings in the main base of your opponent, imagine the possibilities of having a Baneling Nest.
Because in order to have this many Zerglings here, I think, and to have the amount of Zerglings defending back at home, he really needed to just not mine gas, I think, or not have mined a lot of gas anyway. Like, to commit to Banelings at that point might have been difficult for him, and to think that he could defend. That said, though, you pointed out to this, he made a huge mistake, Reynor, that is. Hellraiser making similar mistakes back at his house, however, is going to lose a few of those adepts. This game is bananas. The players are confused as we are.
Yes, I don't think that either of them really has an idea if they're winning or losing this game at this point. Reynor is making 10 roaches.
Oh, God.
Just to give you guys an idea of how confused Reynor is, Reynor is like, oh my God, if he has a Dark Shrine, I'm dead, so I'm going to start building Spore Crawlers. We know there is no Dark Shrine at all, but that's how wild this game is at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And roaches, I mean, they are going to be a great answer. Now that's efficient use of the larva, right? You can spend double the amount of resources inside of Hellraiser's base with a roach warren as opposed to just Zergling. So that is going to be a much more difficult force to dislodge for Hellraiser. And I think he's putting a decent fight, but it's going to be a little bit too much.